Have you ever watched someone steal the spotlight at a moment that was meant to honor others? That's exactly what happened at the Invictus Games. And today, we're diving into the shocking spectacle that unfolded. Meghan Markle, a woman who's no stranger to controversy, took center stage at an event created to honor wounded veterans. But here's the twist. Was this really about the veterans, or was it another moment for her to shine? You might be asking yourself, why is Meghan Markle even speaking at this event? Isn't this supposed to be about the athletes? Well, it's not just a question, it's the heart of the matter. Meghan's introduction of Harry was less about the heroes in the room and more about her own narrative. And trust me, the reaction from the public has been nothing short of explosive. Today, we're going to break it all down. The missteps, the misplaced priorities, and the way this event became a stage for self-promotion rather than the celebration it was meant to be. We'll talk about the lavish spending surrounding the couple, how Meghan's behavior left many wondering about her sincerity, and why this moment wasn't about the veterans, but about them. By the end of this video, you'll see how the Invictus Games, meant to honor resilience and courage, was overshadowed by two of the most talked about figures in the world today. So grab your coffee and settle in. Let's uncover the truth behind the scenes of the Invictus Games, and whether or not Harry and Meghan really understand the importance of this moment. Let's dive deeper. We've already touched on how Meghan's actions at the Invictus Games have shifted the focus away from the veterans to her own persona, but there's so much more to unravel here. Let's rewind for a second. Meghan Markle, a woman who's had a tumultuous journey in the spotlight, has made a name for herself not just as a former actress, but as a member of the British royal family, and now as a global icon, for better or worse. And when she stepped onto that stage at the Invictus Games, it wasn't just an ordinary moment. It was a moment of huge significance, an event that has meant so much to so many veterans, and yet she made it about herself. We can't ignore the fact that many have felt this isn't the first time she's done this. From Oprah interviews to red carpet appearances, it seems there's always a spotlight on her. But should that spotlight be on her at a charity event designed to honor brave veterans? The question is, does she even recognize how her actions are impacting the true purpose of the event? Or is it so ingrained in her now, this need to be seen, to be heard, to always be the star of the show? It's something that's been pointed out again and again. She has this uncanny ability to make every moment about herself, no matter the setting. It's almost as if her presence alone is supposed to command the room. But is that really the case? Or is it a facade that's beginning to crack? Meghan's attempts to present herself as vulnerable or emotional, such as when she spoke about feeling at home in Canada, as if it were the deepest truth, felt forced. The emotion didn't ring true, and that's where many viewers draw the line. The audience, particularly those who followed the royal family for decades, can sense when someone is being disingenuous. And Meghan's polished, overly rehearsed speeches, they don't sit well with a lot of people. Her acting skills, perhaps once celebrated, now come across as too obvious, almost manipulative in a way. But we can't ignore the underlying tensions, can we? When she was introducing Harry, there was this repeated attempt to place herself in the narrative. My husband, our children, our journey. At one point, she even claimed that it feels like home, a phrase we've heard from her before. She said it when she arrived in Nigeria, and now she's saying it about Canada. What is this connection she's creating with every country she visits? Is it a real attachment, or just a strategic move to maintain an image of being universally loved and accepted? And then there's the matter of the event itself, the Invictus Games. Prince Harry, who founded the Games, has dedicated much of his post-royal life to supporting these athletes. But let's be real here. As much as he tries to maintain a positive image, his involvement has increasingly felt like an opportunity to boost his own personal brand. Was it always about the athletes, or did the involvement of the Sussexes turn it into a brand? Something with their names on it that they can sell to the public? In fact, Meghan's constant presence at these events, whether she's in front of the camera or in the background, has turned her into a figurehead. But at what cost? At the cost of real impact? When you see her at these events, it often seems more like she's playing a role rather than contributing meaningfully. She's become a symbol of sorts, of celebrity culture, of status, and not much else. So why does this matter? Why are we still talking about this? It's because Meghan and Harry's actions aren't just about them anymore. They're about the larger narrative they've built around themselves. And that narrative, whether intentionally or not, is pushing aside the real focus of these events. The veterans, the heroes who've sacrificed so much. Let's take a moment and think about the bigger picture here. The Invictus Games were founded with the noble goal of giving wounded veterans a platform to showcase their strength and resilience. But with every move Meghan and Harry make, that goal is becoming clouded by their desire for the spotlight. It's as if they're trying to convince the world that they, too, are somehow part of the same struggle, that they're champions for the cause. But are they really? Or are they just using the games, like many other opportunities in their lives, to keep themselves in the public eye? But let's not just blame Meghan and Harry for turning the event into a media frenzy. Let's also look at the Invictus Games organizers. How did this happen? How did they allow an event meant to honor the athletes to turn into yet another chapter in Harry and Meghan's ongoing narrative? Were they complicit in this, or did they simply let it happen? How much responsibility do the people running the show bear in all of this? And this is where the questions get murky, because when you peel back the layers of public perception, you start to see the cracks. Meghan and Harry may think they're championing a cause, but they're actually undermining it by making the entire event about them. And that's a hard pill to swallow for many who've been following the Invictus Games for years. You see, this isn't just about one speech. It's about a pattern of behavior that continues to show up at every event, every charity, every opportunity where they can shine. And in doing so, they're pulling the focus away from the very people they claim to support, the veterans, the athletes who have worked tirelessly to get to this point in their lives. It's heartbreaking to see something meant to inspire turn into yet another stage for Meghan and Harry to make themselves the center of attention. Let's not forget the broader implications here, too. The money. The costs associated with hosting these two are astronomical. Meghan and Harry's lavish lifestyle, from $5,000 a night hotel suites to expensive outfits, all funded by charity events like Invictus, have raised eyebrows. It's hard to ignore the fact that the money being spent on their comfort could have been used to support the veterans, to pay for medical equipment or prosthetics, to give back in a way that truly honors the spirit of the Games. And when we think about the veterans, those who are training year-round, who have gone through hell and back to get to these Games, how do they feel seeing Meghan and Harry turn this event into their personal showcase? Do they feel honored? Or do they feel like pawns in a game designed to make the Sussexes look good? But the most pressing question remains. Will the Invictus Games continue to be about the athletes, or will they eventually become just another platform for Meghan and Harry to push their personal brand? Will it lose its meaning, or can it return to its roots, to being a celebration of those who've sacrificed so much? So here we are. The spotlight is on them. And the question is, what will they do with it? What will Meghan and Harry do next? Will they shift the focus back to the heroes, the true stars of the show? Or will they continue to turn the Invictus Games into their own personal stage? Stay tuned. The story is far from over. As we wrap up today's discussion, it's clear that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's involvement in the Invictus Games has raised more questions than answers. While the event was meant to honor the courage and resilience of wounded veterans, it's hard to ignore how much of the spotlight was pulled away from them, shining instead on Meghan and Harry. The question remains, Are they truly dedicated to the cause, or are they using it as yet another platform for self-promotion? At the end of the day, the Invictus Games should be about the athletes, their journeys, and the heroes who fought for their countries. But every time Meghan takes center stage, it becomes harder to keep that focus. And while it's natural for any public figure to want their moment in the spotlight, the question is, should it come at the expense of others, especially those who deserve it most? Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think? Was Meghan's speech a genuine gesture of support for the veterans, or was it all about keeping her and Harry in the public eye? Do you believe the Invictus Games are still honoring the true heroes, or have they become another media platform for the Sussexes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you want more insightful analysis and behind-the-scenes stories about the royal family, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Stay tuned, because we've got much more coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.